News. Now, our next guest, Liz Schwefler, is a 1991 Notre Dame grad who is battling the COVID-19 crisis overseas, serving and protecting Americans in France through her work for the U.S. Embassy. Liz, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So, Liz, I want to start off by asking you, just when did you know in France the seriousness of this crisis and, of course, start making plans for helping all of the American citizens that are overseas there?
So in a consular section, part of our mandate at the U.S. Embassy is to always plan for the worst case scenario, whether that's an earthquake, a terrorist attack, or in this case, a pandemic. So once we saw what was happening in Italy in February, those numbers, we knew it was only a matter of time before it was coming our way. Because we're always continuously training, because we have a lot of cross-training in our section, when it did kick in, that helped us pretty smoothly rotate to completely working remotely and getting our messaging out to the U.S. citizen public here when confinement went into place on March 16th. So the serious planning for this particular crisis was underway in early March and continues to this day.
Now, what has life been like for France and for the people of France since the pandemic hit?
So once this started, we had to start pushing out information right away to the people in the public and also answering the phones because those first couple of weeks, there was a lot of confusion about travel in France and in and out of France. So in a crisis, it sounds simple, but it's critical really to be answering the phone and answering the inquiries. So we've had thousands of those since then where Americans who were here suddenly had no place to stay or their flights were canceled and they needed to know should they leave or should they stay. And so by contacting us, we were able to give them the ground truth information that they can trust, and so that they could make an informed decision about what they were going to do. That became a lot clearer by the end of March when the CDC's level of threat was raised, as well as the U.S. Department of State to the global health advisory level 4, which means the U.S. government is advising you not to travel internationally. So then it became quite clear that people needed to go. We were very lucky that Air France maintained one flight a day, alternating between New York and Los Angeles. So that helped French citizens get back here. For example, some students probably at Notre Dame were able to come home, and as well it helped U.S. citizens go home without too much hassle from here. And since then, that was the first couple of weeks. Since then, what we've really been focused on is helping people who stayed and who are struggling with confinement. People are continuing to have problems. If there's a death, even if not COVID-19 related, but that's a very difficult situation for a family to deal with internationally, even more so now. So our support is vital there, going between the family in the United States and the officials here. And also people struggling just with confinement in general. One of the doctors earlier mentioned mental health issues, unfortunately domestic violence issues. Those types of things do go up now, and it's critical that we're there. We have a vast network of contacts throughout France that we can call on at the airports, at the hospitals, law enforcement, social services to get people safety, to get them the resources they need. And sometimes it's just dealing with the folks, their family back home, who need a little help getting them support or maybe getting them home. So yeah. That's how it's been now. And yesterday, May 11th, in France, the déconfinement began. We're starting to come out of confinement very slowly, but it's still very serious here. Most things are not open. Our movement is very limited, and it's going to be a while before before Paris looks like people expect Paris to look like. Right. The tourist attractions, the museums, the cafes and restaurants all remain closed. And I think after this first phase, after a few weeks, the government will look at this and make decisions about whether to open up further or if it turns in the other direction, to return back to the strictest situation that we had here earlier.
Absolutely. It's certainly a very difficult situation for sure. Liz, thank you so much for being with us and, of course, for all of your help and all of your hard work to help Americans abroad.
Thank you for including me. I hope your fundraiser is a big success.
Absolutely. Thank you.